everybody, welcome back to another edition of Skyvan Experience. Today we're going to do something very exciting, at least for us. We're finally going to get a bed in here. This van is starting to finally look more like a camper van, and putting the bed in is kind of one of those benchmarks of, okay, this is going to be a van. So that's what we're going to do today, or at least start today. And let me show you what we're going to be going with, because it's something definitely different than what I've seen anybody else doing out there. Our number one priority when building this was to be comfortable sleeping. We're getting older, or we are old. We're used to also sleeping in zero G. If you don't know what that is, look it up. We've been sleeping in zero G for 20 years. We don't sleep comfortable flat anymore. So let me show you what we've gone with. And I think it's kind of unique, kind of exciting. Here's what we're going with. A zero G base. Here's the remote. You see how the back is going up? And then it also slightly raises the foot part up a little bit. Not as much as our bed in our house, but that's okay. We just hit the remote and bring the feet up a little bit more for that extra level of comfort. So this is what's going in the van. What we're going to build today is a very simple platform for it to fit on with some plywood on top. I put in those, going out of focus, I put in those a long time ago. The plywood is going to be going from there to there. 80 inches long, a simple wood frame made out of 2x2s, and I'll show you what that's going to look like. The other thing that we can do at the same time is put our cooler sliders in. We'll have one here. I got another one in the garage that's going to go right there, and this is going to be really nice. We've got some Set Power fridge coolers that I'll show you later, but we got a little lock here. Once these are bolted down, just pull on that and the cooler will come out so we can easily get to our food and beverages, so we're not having to be rustling around inside the van. So it'll really be accessible, and that'll be really cool. So it's time to start measuring and cutting some wood. All right, let me show you the dealio so far. So that box right there is what the plywood is going to rest on. And then, of course, we'll have our zero G base on top of that. And now I just need to build, and I haven't connected anything yet. You see it kind of overlaps the fireplace, but that is what it is, whatever. I still need to put a piece of wood going there, so we have some support going up. So I need to run another beam across there in order to give it fully support, because one bad thing about going with that is that it's heavy. It's heavy, no doubt. But, you know, we're not putting any other really super heavy stuff in here. We don't have water. We don't have huge battery banks and all that stuff. So this is where we kind of wanted to put a lot of our weight in being comfortable in the bed. So let me keep cutting some wood, and I'll tune you in after I get some of it together. All right, current status. I've got a support going on the bottom there. We've got plenty of room. I didn't mind putting a post there because there's plenty of room on either side to put totes for food, duffel bags, whatever. Plenty of room in the back for the two sliders for the coolers, so that's looking really good. I just really want to make this thing strong enough and beefy enough so that when my wife and I get on it, along with the weight of that zero G base, that it's going to be sturdy enough. And I don't want to hear a bunch of creaking and everything, although it's wood, so it probably will. But anyway, I'm going to keep strengthening this thing up, and I'll tune back in a minute. Alrighty, there she is. I feel pretty good about that. I need to get maybe some more angle brackets to maybe beef it up in a couple of spots. But for right now, I can cut the plywood, test fit it in, and have this thing about 60-70% done right now. So it's looking good. I think that's going to do it for today. We need to make a decision about vinyl, if we want to use the same color or maybe get a different color to go around the edge or something like that. So we'll make a decision about that, and we'll come back and we'll we'll finish this project up. All right, it is tomorrow, and we're going to take a pause from the bed install, which I'm really close to completing, to put in our cooler sliders. I've already put in one over here, and I'll show you what we went with here in a minute. It's got a little blue lever here that I think you can see. Pulls right out, so when we're at the campsite, we can pull this out, open up the cooler, get to our food, slide it back in. What just happened? Oh, apparently the lever helps to go back in too. Boom. And it can lock in place. It's bolted down in 4 places. So I'm going to put another one right behind me here, right where I'm sitting. Going to go right here because we want to have 2 coolers with us, because the kind of coolers that we got, which I'll show you later, can be a fridge and it can be a freezer as well. So on one side we can have a freezer, on the other side a cooler, and we'll see how that works out. But we're pretty excited to try those out. So let's get this other one installed over here. These are the sliders that we went with by Rough Country. I think they were about 150 bucks each on Amazon, something like that. So you got your instruction manual, pretty good instructions. Got your parts. You can use these aluminum spacers if you want to. I didn't need to. Got the straps to hold down the cooler, and of course the bolts. One method that I will use of attaching it is with these rib nuts, using an M8. It's an M8 size bolt, and I'll show you. We have to make some modifications. We got to cut the bolts down because they're not. The distance is pretty short, so we don't need that long of a bolt. And then we got the unit itself, which seems to be really good quality. Nice and heavy. Bearings seem to be good. It rolls out really smooth. Of course, it's got the Rough Country logo on it. So there you go. Again, blue lever, slides it right out. On the one I installed yesterday, I used 4 mounting holes. I think that's probably overkill. I'm going to go with 1 right here and then 2 on the side. And I feel like that's going to be more than enough to hold it very securely in place. All right, let's get started. Now, when you're finding a place to put these, you have to be very, very precise. I use a very precise method called TLAR. And what that stands for is, that looks about right. And this looks about right here. I close the door. There's going to be plenty of clearance. I know, because I've had the fridges in here, that it's going to clear no problem with the door closed and everything. And it's in relative position to where this one is. So the first thing we've got to do, grab our marker. We're going to be going through the carpet. We're going to have to cut away a little bit of the carpet before we put the rib nut into the wood, the heavy duty. It's not even, I don't even know what kind of a subfloor these things come with, but it's a very heavy duty, nice composite product that the rib nut is going into just fine. So what I've been doing, let me pull this thing out. I got the locker in. So I want to put, let's see, am I still looking good? Still looking good. So I'm going to mark with my Sharpie where I'm going to be drilling my holes. Go all the way back here, put 1 in the back there. So I think 3 should be just fine. Got my holes marked. Let's pull it out. Gonna go in with my blade. I'm just kind of piercing the carpet here. The instructions say to go with a 9/16 bit. I didn't have one of those, so I just got kind of close. I put the rib nut up next to it and said, that looks pretty close. If you were just going on sheet metal, this would be super easy, but the fact that I have to go through the carpet into this wood or composite material, whatever it is, makes it a little more difficult. What I've been doing is just attaching the bolt to the rib nut and then sticking it in there. Make sure my depth is okay. Yep, and that is looking very good. That should go in there no problem. Need to cut away a little bit more carpet though. Got to put the M8 fitting in there. Make sure it's well seated. Keep it in one place. And then rib nut it. So there it is. Screw the bolt in. Not going anywhere. Perfect. That's 1 of 3. So I just need to do that 2 more times. 1 up there and 1 right about there. And that'll be it. This side is shallower. There's actually more space under the subfloor towards the edges, and it kind of curves in towards the middle. So what we're going to have to do, I had to do it over here as well, we're going to have to cut this down a little bit, shave off maybe 1/4 inch or so that it can actually sit all the way in. The only part that gets squished is right here. And what's happening is that it's, you know, squishing out against the plywood, and it's making a very it's got a lot of purchase. That's good, but again, it won't do it if I don't cut a little bit of this off. All right, I've got all the holes drilled. Riv nuts are in. On the one towards the back there, I can't get a riv nut to work, so I'm just going to go with a lag bolt in the plywood, and that should hold it just fine. We'll be taking this on a trip in about a week, so that's when we'll kind of find out if all this stuff works or not. So let's go ahead and get this thing. Let me clean up and then bolt it in. Oh, I forgot to mention, these bolts are too long. I have to cut them down in order for them to fit. Otherwise, they will bottom out and not secure it. So I need to do that first. All right, theoretically, we should just have to bolt them in there, there, and there, and we should be done with this. I say theoretically because this has taken a lot longer than I thought it would. All right, they are in. This would not be too bad of a project if you just had sheet metal to go through, but me having to go through the carpet and then cutting down bolts, making the rib nuts work in the plywood or the subfloor of the van. But at the end of the day, they work, they're secure, they're not going to go anywhere. So now let's get back to work on the bed, which is what I really want to be working on right now. But I wanted to get this done because it's going to be a lot easier if the bed's not in place. So let's get back to work on the bed. This is what we're going to be covering the plywood for the bed. A nice marine gray vinyl, just so if something falls underneath the bed, we're not reaching down and feeling plywood. So some nice vinyl on top. Going to do 2 pieces of this. Then we'll be ready to put them in, zip them down, good to go. Well, the bed is almost done. We just got done putting vinyl on the plywood. I love the, what do they call it, the garage space underneath the bed. Tons of room for big totes and everything that you got to carry with you. That's great. Got my cooler, fridge holders back there. Looking good. I was just kind of vacuuming up. Only thing left to do, I need shorter screws. These furniture cabinet screws are a little too long to zip down the plywood around the perimeter. And then the only thing left to do is put on the actual 0G bed frame up there, plug it in, and the bed will be done. So, looking good. Well, when all is said and done, here's the end result of the bed. We got a mattress from Amazon for about $250, which we're pretty happy with. Here's the base right here. The base bolts in, so we don't have to worry about it sliding forward under braking or anything like that. It's also, if you're looking for a base, you want to go with something called a zero clearance. So it doesn't require having any legs underneath the base. So it keeps the overall height fairly low. Underneath, you can see the slides back there where the coolers are going to go. We've got plenty of room for stuff in our garage area right here for all the tubs that we carry that carries all your food and anything else you might need to take camping. So we're very happy with it and looks good. It's comfortable, queen size bed, and we like it a lot. So hopefully that gives you some ideas on what to do for a bed for your van conversion. Again, there's all sorts of different opinions out there, but we really like being able to go into zero G, have a nice comfy mattress, and hopefully get a good night's sleep when we try this thing out. Next time, we'll be installing a hitch so we can hook up our trailer to put our golf cart on it to go on a trip. That'll be awesome. Thanks. We'll see you next time. Bye.